Well, it's been 2 years since I got the Amex Gold card, and this might sound controversial because of how popular this card is, but I think it might be a bit overrated, at least for some people, so let me explain. Now, the Amex Gold card is excellent on paper. It gets 4x points per dollar at restaurants, 4x points per dollar on groceries, and 3x points per dollar on flights, and the $250 annual fee is almost completely offset by annual credits like the $120 in Uber credits and the $120 in dining credits that work at places like Grubhub, the Cheesecake Factory, Shake Shack, and a few others. So what everyone likes to say is that the effective annual fee on this card can really be as low as just 10 bucks. But after 2 years of carrying the Amex Gold here in my wallet, I want to give you all an honest, real-life review about what I like, what I don't like, who I think should consider getting it, and why I'm still keeping it, because in today's credit card market, there really are a lot of other good options with similar credit cards that have no annual fees. All right, so first, what I like about the Amex Gold, and the number one thing that I can think of that comes to mind first for me is going to be the welcome bonus that American Express has been offering for this card. Now, my welcome bonus was for 60,000 membership rewards points after spending, I think, $4,000 in the first 6 months, so that's not too bad. But lately, I've been seeing public offers on the Amex website for 75,000 and even up to 90,000 points, which I just saw this morning for the same $4,000 minimum spend. Plus, the website Resi has had some unique offers for 75k points and 20% back as a statement credit for purchases made at restaurants for up to $250 back in your first 12 months. So sign-up offers like that are great because Amex points can be worth at least 1 cent per point or more if you learn how to use transfer partners. And I'll talk a bit more about the value of Amex points throughout this video, but that means an elevated 90,000 point sign-up bonus would be equal to at least $900 in value at a minimum. Now, staying on the topic of points, another thing I really like about the Amex Gold card are the everyday spending categories that I just mentioned. So 3x points per dollar on flights booked either directly with airlines or through the American Express travel portal is pretty good, unless you have another card that earns more like I do. But the Gold card really shines when it comes to spending on food with 4x back at restaurants and on groceries. I mean, food tends to be most people's third highest area of spending behind housing and transportation, so I think getting a credit card that optimizes for your return on spend for categories like dining and groceries is going to be the smart thing to do, especially with rising food prices lately. And again, I like to value my Amex points very conservatively at just 1 cent per point, even though I can find ways to save my points for later and eventually get twice as much value or more. So 4x points per dollar on all my food spending is equal to at least 4% back at a minimum on paper. And then if I had to pick another thing that I really like about the Amex Gold card, depending on the person, I would say it's the credits that it offers, because it's really nice to almost completely offset the annual fee every single year, like I said before. You get 10 bucks per month in Uber credits that can be used for rides or eats, which is nice for me because I know that I ride in an Uber at least once per month every single month, so I easily use up that credit. And if you like to eat at the Cheesecake Factory or Shake Shack, or if you order on Grubhub, Milk Bar, Goldbelly, or Wine.com, then the $10 monthly dining credit can be really useful too. Now, these are use it or lose it credits, meaning you can't roll them over from one month into the next, so you have to use them every single month or they basically go to waste. And I'll talk about these credits later on too, because there are some things in my own personal experience that I've come to dislike about them lately. But for a lot of people, especially if you like to use food delivery services, then I think this card really makes a lot of sense because now you can get $10 back towards Uber Eats and $10 back towards Grubhub every single month. Now, those are all the general things that I like about the Gold card, but let's take a step back for just a second, because even though the Amex Gold seems to have a great reputation and a lot of people online like to recommend it to others, including myself, but in this 2-year honest review, I really need to make it clear why this card might not be the best option for everyone out there by going over what I didn't like that started making me question having the Amex Gold card in my own wallet. So again, the card has a $250 annual fee and $240 of possible credits available, which makes the lowest possible effective annual fee just $10. But a big point that I want to make is that this effective annual fee number assumes that you're able to use all those credits for every single month, all within your normal spending habits. And what I mean by normal spending habits is that you're basically just not using these credits because you have the Amex Gold card, but you actually would spend money on things like Uber, Grubhub, or all those other services before you got this card. So if you don't have the Amex Gold right now, but you think you might want it, then just take a look back at your last 3 to 6 months worth of spending to see how many times you actually spent money on anything covered by both the Uber and the dining credits. But let's assume that hypothetically, I do use all 240 of those credits throughout the year to bring my effective annual fee on this card from $250 all the way down to just $10 per year. And with that, let's take a look at how I valued the Amex Gold card recently. Now, for me, because I budget and track every dollar I spend, I know my combined dining and grocery spending has averaged around $671 per month this year. So at 4x points per dollar, that's equal to around 2,684 points per month, or roughly 32,200 points per year. And at a conservative 1 cent per point value, that's equal to around $322. But remember, our effective annual fee is $10 per year from our annual fee minus the credits we're using. So 322 minus 10 is 312 of net value. And when we divide that by my total of $8,052 of spending on food for the year, which is just $671 per month times 12, we're netting a value of around 3.87% back. Again, this is assuming a $10 effective annual fee and 1 cent per point redemption value, which is why this is falling just below 4% back in this calculation. But I think doing the math like this is good for anyone to make sure this card is worth it. So watch this full video, but then rewind it again if you have to and plug in your own numbers to see. But 3.87% back in this example is what we'll compare to other credit cards out there, because maybe I'm getting 3% back on dining and groceries with the cashback credit card like the Capital One Saver one. So 3.87% back beats that and makes the Amex Gold worth it. But maybe I'm already using the Citi Custom Cash to get 5% back on groceries, so that card is going to beat the Gold card and give us more back on grocery spend. Basically, there's a lot to consider and everyone's going to have a different situation. So that's why I don't like to say that one credit card is perfect for everyone, because it really depends on a number of factors. But for me, there's sort of been 3 problems I've had with the Amex Gold card that have made it less valuable to me lately. So number 1, when I'm trying to redeem my Amex points to get higher cent per point values above 1 cent per point, it's not always going to be possible depending on where I'm traveling to. Now, if I was doing really cool international first class or business class trips, I definitely could find ways to get 3 to 5 cents per point or much higher, which would be amazing value. But I also know that I wouldn't be willing to pay several $1,000s of cash price for those types of tickets, so I basically have to discount what a point redemption like that is even worth to me. Plus, in reality, because I've really just mostly flown short distance domestic flights within the US over the past 2 years that I've had the Gold card, it tends to be harder to find those award prices with transfer partner airlines that give me that outsized redemption value. Now, flights are usually going to be your best way to redeem Amex points for that high value, even though I have found some good hotel redemptions from time to time, and I plan to make a video walking through some examples of Amex point redemptions in the next month, so give this video a like and comment down below if you want to see that, and then make sure to go ahead and subscribe down below as well, because it's completely free and then you won't miss that video. Now, I could always settle and get around 1 cent per point for flights booked in the Amex travel portal, even though that's obviously not the best option, but it is a good floor value and it's where I'm getting my conservative 1 cent per point value from. But then the second problem I've had with the Gold card is that I actually don't use it as much as I could for my food spending. That's because I've been getting a lot of new credit cards over the past 2 years as I work towards getting my optimal credit card setup in place. But what happens is that with each new credit card I get, it also comes with a sign-up bonus that has a minimum spend requirement. So because my spending is pretty minimal to begin with, I usually just put all my expenses on that new credit card and get that sign-up bonus. And when it comes to credit card bonuses, the return you get from those is almost always going to beat what your normal spending categories are on a card. So for example, I just got the Citi Custom Cash, and the bonus on that card is $200 after spending $1,500 in the first 6 months, and 200 divided by 1,500 is a 13.3% return on spend. So compared to getting 4x points or roughly 4% back as a conservative estimate on the Amex Gold card for dining and groceries, it just makes sense to put it all on the Custom Cash until I hit that bonus before I move on to my next new credit card. Again, people might have different views on this strategy, but it all comes down to how much you spend, and I really don't spend that much money right now, so it works well for me. Now, because of all that, instead of spending $671 per month on food, I might only be spending around $100 on average. So at 4x points per dollar, that's 400 points per month or 4,800 points per year. And at a conservative 1 cent per point valuation, again, because I haven't had the chance to maximize the value of my Amex points lately and I'm just saving them up, 4,800 points to be safe right now is only equal to about $48 of value. Then when we take $10 off that for the effective annual fee, again, the $250 annual fee minus $240 in value from the Uber and dining credits, that's $38 in net value per year. So $38 divided by an estimated $1,200 of food spending per year, which is just $100 per month times 12, that's only a 3.17% return, which doesn't sound as good as getting 4x points per dollar on dining and groceries. But that brings me to the third problem, and the thing that I found actually has hurt me the most with the Gold card lately, and that is the fact that I don't use all the credits each month, so my effective annual fee is actually much higher than $10. Now, like I talked about earlier, I do use Uber at least once per month, mostly for rides when I'm in a new city or I'm going out or something, so that's a guaranteed $120 of value back to me each year to help offset the $250 annual fee. But because the dining credits are so limited to only Grubhub, the Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, Milk Bar, and the select Shake Shack locations, I rarely use this credit anymore because those things are just not a part of my normal spending habits. I used Grubhub in the past, but honestly, nowadays, I just end up cooking at home most of the time to stay healthy, and then the other dining partners are pretty useless to me. If Amex gave us more dining partners, or they made this a general $10 credit for dining at restaurants and cafes and things like that, then I think the Amex Gold card would literally be a no-brainer for most people. But for me and my situation that I'm in right now and my lifestyle that changes over time, I just rarely use that 120 of total dining credits throughout the year, so I've begun to discount them entirely from how I value this card. Remember, we want to value these credits according to our normal spending habits for things we would spend money on without the Gold card, so that means my effective annual fee is not $10 for this, but instead it's more like $130 because I could take $250 for the annual fee and subtract only the $120 of Uber credits that I use. I feel like this could be the case with other people out there as well, so just because you hear that the effective annual fee on the Amex Gold can be as low as $10, that doesn't mean that's what it's going to be for you. So be honest with yourself like I am, and by the way, I don't want this video to sound like I'm hating so much on the Amex Gold card because I really do like it when it's being used to its full potential, and in just a minute here, I'm going to tell you my current thoughts on who should be getting this card and why I still even have it. But when we we take a look now at my updated return on spending for the food categories that I mainly got the gold card for. We take on average $100 per month, which is the decreased amount that I've been spending on the gold card now that I'm cycling through all these other new credit cards to work on sign-up bonus offers. Then we take 4x points per dollar for 400 points per month or 4,800 points per year, and add a conservative 1 cent per point valuation. Again, due to the fact that my recent travel hasn't given me the optimal high value to redeem my Amex points, so I'm saving them up for later. But those 4,800 points per year is equal to $48 per year in value. Then we have to now take that $48 and subtract our effective annual fee, which is not just a cheap $10, but for me it's been more like $130 lately, and that pushes me down into negative territory at negative $82 per year in expected value, meaning that it's like I'm actually paying more for this card than the value it's giving to me in return. So based on all that, here's the quick version of the 3 things that people need to consider to decide if the Amex Gold card is still going to be right for them. First, are you going to be able to redeem your Amex points at more than 1 cent per point in value? Because if I'm able to start doing that, which I think I will pretty soon for some travel I have planned, then my expected value is going to be way more positive again. Then second, do you plan on getting some other new credit cards in the near future, which is going to take away your spending from the gold card as you work towards other new sign-up bonuses? Because even though 4x back on dining and groceries makes this card an everyday driver for many people, if you're not going to use it that much, then you might be better off just waiting to get it, so that way when you do get it, you can establish it as a part of your core credit card setup. And third, do you truly get any value from the Uber and dining credits within your normal spending habits by regularly spending on these things before you even have the gold card in the first place? If you can look at those things and the Amex Gold card still seems worth it and makes sense for you, then I say go for it, because this could be one of the best credit cards out there if that is the case. But maybe you're a beginner and redeeming Amex points with transfer partners seems a bit intimidating, or maybe you don't spend that much because you live on your own and you don't have a family you have to feed within your food budget. So in those cases, maybe think twice about getting the Amex Gold and go with something else for now. But now the real question is, why do I still have the Amex Gold if I'm getting negative expected value from it? And there's a few easy reasons to explain that. First, like I said, I do expect that I'll have some travel soon, which is going to give me more value for those MR points that I've been saving up, where I'm going to be able to fly first class and business class on some very long flights to and from places in Europe. Second, I'm going to be slowing down on new credit cards a bit in 2023. So as I do that, I'm going to have more of a steady wallet setup where the Amex Gold card is going to be my go-to dining and grocery credit card, and then I'll earn a lot of points that way. And third, I need to make it clear, because I am a content creator here in the personal finance and credit card space on YouTube, but it's very easy for me to max out my personal credit card referrals. So even though I believe that my higher Amex point redemptions and my increased food spending that I'm going to have on my gold card will give me a greater positive expected value next year and beyond, American Express also allows card members to refer others to their cards. So usually within the first week of the year, I'm able to max out my gold card and all those referrals, and that gives me an extra 55,000 membership rewards points per year. And at a conservative 1 cent per point valuation to play it safe, that's still $550 in value, which easily covers my effective annual fee and then some. So it's always going to be a little easier for someone like me to have this card for the long term. Again, that's not to brag, but it's just the reality, and I'm always trying to be 100% honest and transparent with you all, because I really appreciate every single one of you that watches my videos. So overall, yes, the Amex Gold card can be great, but for the right person. Everyone needs to evaluate their own situation and their own spending habits, kind of like I did in this video. So again, feel free to rewind and plug in your own numbers. And if you want more information on how to redeem Amex points for max value, then go check out this video over here on the full guide that I made, because it's actually really helpful. Or if you want to learn some more Amex Gold card tips and tricks that most people either don't know about or they forget, then go check out this video over here. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.